seen my video and to have me make a video specially to answer your question, send me an email to englishclubusa@yahoo.com, and you can visit my website at englishclubusa.com for a free life membership. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. You have watched my videos and you know that I always talk about English as something binary. That's the heart of English Club USA. So today I would like to talk a little about something that many of my students ask. They said, but Valerio, there are so many words that are similar and we don't understand exactly the difference, what it is. So we just use whatever. Is there a logic? Is there a way that native people think about binary things? When you have the same idea, but you have two different words, there has to be a difference. So today, we're going to look at a couple of examples where we're talking about size. And we have four words that describe size. Something that is, and something that is. So today we will discuss both of them. A dilemma for everyone: what is the difference between big and large and small and little? This is one of the most fun dilemmas for me in English language. Well, thank God that you cannot see the way I explain the differences in live classes. Because if you were to see this, I would probably be very unhappy. So today, we will try to do it in a diplomatic way, so that we don't offend anyone. So let's take a look at and compare two ideas in general. And these two ideas are the size of the city, which is a population where I live, which is Montevideo, Uruguay, and the salary, the average salary that people earn living in Uruguay. Well, I am sure all of my students who come from all over the world have different ideas about population and about salary. Well, here in Montevideo, we have a very small country, Uruguay, with 3.5 million people. And half of these people live in one city called Montevideo. And when people work in Uruguay, an average salary for a person is $9,600 per year in year 2020. So now when you're listening to these facts about Uruguay, you think to yourself, oh my God, this is not enough money to live on. Or maybe you think it's a lot. And then you think, but oh my God, 1.7, a capital of the country, how can it possibly be? Is it small or is it little? So the question is, how do you decide between these descriptions? And that's what we're going to look at. Because depending where you're from and depending on your experience, you will use the words differently. So let's take a look at a few examples. Well, first of all, when we're talking about salary, let's think about $3,000 per month. And we talk about $3,000 a month. What do you think? Is this a large amount of money? Is this a big amount of money? Is this a small amount of money? Or is this a little amount of money? Is there a difference? Well, interestingly enough, there is. So let's take a look and see what is the logic behind the use of big and large and small and little. Usually, I start with examples. Well, in this case, I would like to change my system a little bit. I would like to tell you what the answer is, and then I would like for you to apply the answer that I give to explain the difference to the examples we have in the video. So, the difference between big and small and large and little is the difference whether what you're talking about is objective or subjective. What is objective? An objective is when the majority of the people, like maybe 90% of the people, agree. And subjective is your personal interpretation. So, let's take a look and see which one is objective and subjective. In Uruguay, $5,000, if you are an Uruguayan and you live in Uruguay, and you say that, well, you make in Uruguay $3,000, and you hear somebody says, well, I make $5,000 per month, that means that that is a large salary. Because you make $3,000 and another person makes a little more, not a lot more, not $25,000, only $2,000 more, not even a double. So that is definitely more money. It is a lot more money. But is it a really big salary? No, it is not. It is a little larger than if you were to making less. What about in Uruguay? Is Uruguay a big city or large city? Well, if you're an Uruguayan and you live in Montevideo, you think that you know that there are big cities larger than Uruguay. And cities that are larger than Uruguay can be Buenos Aires with 8 million people, could be New York with 18 million people, could be Miami with 8 million people. So those are definitely cities that are larger than Montevideo. So people who live in Montevideo think that they live in a large city because it's an opinion that we have. We know that there are much smaller cities, and we know there are much bigger cities like New York. So, if we're talking about a vacation, for example, when you say about, okay, Valeria, I don't want to be in Montevideo with population of 1.7 million. I am earning $3,000 per month, which is a large amount of money for an average Uruguayan, because an average makes less than $1,000 per month. And if you earn 3 times as much as the average Uruguayan, for sure that's a big difference. So, would you like to take a vacation? And you say, okay, I'm an Uruguayan and I will take a large vacation. Or am I going to take a small vacation? Well, if you're an Uruguayan and you will take a 30-day vacation, and in Uruguay, we are given, everybody has 30 days per year for vacation, and you decided to take your 30-day vacation, you decided not to split it in half, then you took a large vacation. Did you take a big vacation? No, you took a large vacation. And you will say, but what would it be big vacation for an Uruguayan if for him or her large vacation is 30 days? Well, for Uruguayan, a big vacation, which is objectively big, everybody will say, wow, that was a big vacation. That would be 2 months. Can you imagine vacation for 2 months? Well, it is possible in Uruguay. So, what about United States vacation? You say, okay, I am tired of working. I would like to take a large vacation if I live in United States. What would a large vacation in United States be? Would it be 30 days? I don't think there's anybody who takes vacation for 30 days in the United States. But you say, I will take it for 9 days. For 9 days, for 9 days vacation, that would be a large vacation for the United States. And for Uruguay, 12 days vacation would be a little vacation. You see, 12 days for Uruguay, because the normal vacation would be 30 days. 12 days, it will be less than normal. So that means that 12 days would be a little vacation. But for the North American, who probably never takes vacations, or maybe takes a 5-day vacation, or maybe takes a week vacation, for a North American, 12-day vacation will be 9-day vacation would be a large vacation. What would be a little vacation for the North American? For the North American, a little vacation will be 4 days. When I used to live in the United States, I took many 4-day vacations. I took a weekend off, and then took a Friday and a Monday. That was my 4-day vacation. So I had a few vacations like that. So I had many little vacations. Okay, and you say, okay, population. Does Uruguay have a city which is smaller than Montevideo? And of course we do. So instead of 1.7 million people, we have a very nice little city called Florida. And Florida's population is 33,000 people. So for somebody who lives in Florida, who never left Florida, for that person, 33,000 people is a normal population. Well, that person knows that there is Montevideo. They have never been outside of Uruguay. They don't know what Miami looks like. They don't know what New York looks like. They have no idea what anything else outside of Uruguay looks like Buenos Aires, which is across the river. So, for Florida population, for anyone who lives with a population of 33,000, thinking about Montevideo, now they will say that Montevideo is a big city. But can you imagine if you are from New York with a population of 18 million people? What do you say about Uruguay or Montevideo, Uruguay, if you come from New York and the suburbs? You come from an 18 million people city and you come to little Montevideo. Would you say Montevideo is little or small? I am sure your answer is small. So why? Because everybody who lives in a 1.18 million size city, a city which is 10 times less the size of New York, anybody would say, that's a small city. 90% will agree. So for a New Yorker, Uruguay is a small city. For Uruguayan, Montevideo is a large city. Now, what happens if you live in different places? How would you think if you are from Miami? Well, Miami has 6 million population, which is definitely, is it a big city? I don't think Miami is a big city because I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. We also have about 6 million population with suburbs. So Miami is basically like Atlanta. So for me, definitely, Miami is not a small city for sure. It definitely is not a little city. So for me, since I was in Atlanta, Miami is a large city. It is definitely not a big city. But if you live in Florida with 33,000 people, Miami is definitely, with 6 million population, is definitely a big city. So you see, let's give it a try and see in Uruguay, for example, what happens if you are from New York. What do you say about Miami? You come from an 18 million population city, and Miami, you go to Miami, which is only 6 million population, which is 3 times less. You'll probably say that Miami is a little city. You may say Miami is a large city if you will be diplomatic, but I think you will say Miami after New York. Anything is a little city. So you see, when you're talking about comparison, there are things that are objective and things that are subjective. So now in this video you said, okay, Valery, you told us a little about Uruguay. We like what you're hearing. We like that in Uruguay we have vacations that are 30 days for everybody. Are there any other benefits that Uruguay has? Well, I'll make a video on that specifically just to tell everybody a little about Uruguay. I'm sure you will enjoy that. But for now, I will tell you that even though people make only less than $1,000 per month working, the health system in Uruguay is basically free and probably one of the best in the world. In addition to that, the education in Uruguay is basically free. So if people want to be a doctor or a lawyer or an architect or an accountant, they can study basically for free. You do have to buy your books and your pencils, but education is basically free. Is there anything else that is basically free in Uruguay? Yes. We have probably sitting on the second largest reserve of fresh water. Uruguayans have a population of 1.7 million in Montevideo, but 3.5 million of people in the entire country. And you say, wow, that's a small country. And you are right. But you know what? The population of cows in Uruguay is not 3.5 million, it is 12 million. So every Uruguayan has 3 cows to eat. And you say, wow, that's a big cow population. So when you have 3 times more cows than there are people living in the country, that's a big ratio. So you see, even things like this that are subjective and objective can be a lot of fun. Imagine what my live class looks like or sounds like when I use examples that I cannot use in this video. I hope you enjoyed the class, and I hope I will see you in the next video. To be in my video and to have me make a video specially to answer your question, send me an email to englishclubusa@yahoo.com, and you can visit my website at englishclubusa.com for a free life membership. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell.